WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
I plan to stay drug-free.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
I pledge to be drug-free.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
And good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and I am very, very honored to have two very special guests on the show with me today. When we talk about the subject of education, I can't have two better people to be on the show with me than Vicki Dobbins, who's on the school board with the River Rouge Schools, as well as the former president of the Highland Park Schools. Her name is Alexis Ramsey. Ladies, thank you for coming on the show with us today.
Thank you so much for having us, Darwin.
And again, our show is live. Our calling numbers are area code 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, 313-868-4336. Our website is www.tv33whpr.com, and you are watching us live from the awesome cities of Highland Park under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Hubert Yap, as well as the phenomenal city of Detroit, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Mike Duggan. Just one little thing I just wanted to say before we get started is that many of you know Livonia Perriman. And Livonia Perriman, I co-host the show with her, but the thing that I just wanted to let everybody know that keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers. She just recently lost her mother, Geneva Perriman, and she was in her mid-90s. Yes. And pray for her father, who is still with us, and to keep them strong, keep them lifted up in your thoughts and your prayers as well. So again, our prayers and our thoughts and our strength and our love go out to Livonia Perriman and her father and her family during this time. There's been a lot of things that's been going on, but as a lot of people know, we're just still going through a lot of the COVID-19 protocols. Schools have been out of session for the last year and a half. Schools have been migrating back into the system. Children are going back to school, and I was looking at a newspaper article in the Detroit News where they talked about there's a spike in expulsions and in suspensions, and that's some of the things that we're going to talk about, today. Why is this happening? What's going on? What is the code of conduct that a lot of the schools are following, and what constitutes a student getting expelled for, in some cases, ladies, I think that they could be expelled for up to almost the entire school year, which is about 180 days, correct? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna, pretty much like delve a little deep into that and see what, what could be done, and talk about, what the students are dealing with as they come back from the pandemic and being integrated back into the school system. But again, my special guests are Miss Vicki Dobbins with the school board with River Rouge Schools, and Miss Alexis Ramsey, who's with the Highland Park, just about everything with Highland Park.
but
former school board president for Highland Park Schools.
Yes.
Again, thank you, ladies, for coming on the show with us today.
Thank you so much.
Let's kind of go a little bit deep into the conversation. I know, Vicki, you just got back from a conference in Grand Rapids regarding school boards and school board presidents, but just to kind of give a little brief, like a minute, 2 minute overview about what were some of the things that you covered at your school board conferences you were at in Grand Rapids.
Okay, so you know what? Thank you so much, Darwin, for having us today. Also, I'd just like to send my deepest sympathy to Livonia Perryman, because she is a lady that I think over the past maybe 20 years, I've known her, and we have been able to speak to each other. I've been on her show, and she speaks so highly of her mom and dad all the time. And so, just because I am a child, had mothers and fathers, I just have to give her all the support and love that I possibly can at this particular time. Thank you so much, Livonia, and we are praying for you. So,
Absolutely.
So let me say that this past weekend, we went to the MASB convention, what was held in Grand Rapids. It was absolutely awesome. You have to remember that Michigan School Board is made up of elected school board members all over Michigan. Now that's what that one is. It might have others, but this was ours. We had meetings, sessions, and classes. That's what that convention is made up of. We had sessions with a young man who told us his story about how he came up through the ranks and he made it in the realm of school, and he finally became a PhD. And he wrote a wonderful book. I didn't get a chance to get the book because I was at the end of the line. But we had a wonderful time. We did networking. You get a chance to meet other school board members, principals, and superintendents. I met another Dr. Coleman there. And it's very interesting to see the people who are there, talked with them and express ideas with them, and that. Also, Alexis, as you know, we had classes there.
Yes.
I have maybe one more class before I would be a certified school board member.
Well, congratulations.
Excuse me.
And it's not easy to do. It's tons of classes.
Excuse me. So it's a very interesting program. Anyone who has not been should go. We do it once a year, so make sure next year we're going to Traverse City.
Okay.
And so if you are on a school board, you have an opportunity to go, please do that.
So,
Absolutely.
Vicki, let me ask you this question then. So, what are some of the main concerns that you find that is existing in the schools in River Rouge? Because I know, Alexis, I'm bringing that same question to you, but I know that Highland Park at the present time does not have a school.
Well, we do. We have
Now
a charter
you've
school.
Got a charter school.
Yes.
In the Highland Park.
Right,
But
which
you
is-
lost your high school.
Right, but we're
Yeah.
authorized. So what the BOE does is they're the authorizer now.
Okay.
So basically, we oversee the board of directors, which is appointed by the Board of Education.
Okay.
And they run the day-to-day operations of the school, basically. But then they report to us, or report to the current board that's in place, on any issues. They come in once a month, They tell us, where the kids are actually, like with enrollment, if there have been any suspensions or anything along those lines. So we're just the kind of the overseers at this point.
So, since I'm on you right now, Alexis, what are some of the biggest concerns then that you find that are existing in Highland Park schools today?
That's a loaded question. But what I will say
Well,
right
let's talk
now,
about the strengths. Let's talk about the positives, and then we might be able to delve off into
right.
something else.
So right now, the positives, it seems like the district is has enrollment increasement, right?
Okay.
So they had about 120 some students when the year first started. They're close to about 250 right now, or maybe a little bit more, per the last count. They did vote to have a new education provider come in. We had promised at one time, they were let go after a year of service, and now we have Excel. So I think that's positive for the district. It seems like the board of directors is finally gelling together. They're no longer a 7-member board, they're kind of a 5-member board, maybe 4 now. I think they're looking for an additional board member. So that's positive. I think some of the services that they're providing right now for the students is positive. So they've linked up with the NBA and Pistons to do some basketball clinics and things like that. Highland Park is a big sports town. We love sports. We love to see our children in sports, to teach sportsmanship. So I think those are some of the positive things that are coming out of the district right now.
Now, what would they be doing with the Pistons?
Well, they do these clinics, right? So they have these clinics coming up on the weekends, and they basically just come in and train boys and girls on basketball and sportsmanship and how to, get along with one another and things like that. So I haven't participated in any of the sporting classes that they currently have, but I will be in the future.
Now, do you know where those classes will be held at?
Yes, they're at Barber Preparatory Academy. I don't know the dates, but what you can do is go to HIPARK, HIPARK.org, and you can always get the information off the website for the school district.
I know those children are probably looking forward to that, aren't they?
They are. I heard that the last clinic went extremely well. Thank you to the Vice President, Janice Spite-White, who's the current Vice President of the school district. She was instrumental in bringing that program to the school. So, again, it's just kind of partnering, gelling with one another, getting like I said, the Board of Education and the Board of Directors together, and it seems like they're starting to somewhat gel together. There are always issues, right? And there will always be issues, but at the end of the day, children first has always been the motto, and I think that's what they're aiming for at this point.
So you mentioned some of the positives, and that's great, some of the positives. What are some of the concerns that you, as having been a former school board president, what would you like to see instituted in Highland Park with the children there in the schools?
Well, this is on the administration side. When I was on the board, it's important because we were under emergency management to streamline the district. I think right now they're too top-heavy in salaries. We're putting out almost $400,000 for a total of 2 basically administrators who's kind of doing dual roles right now. You have a director of operations and you have a CEO. And when I was on the board, we did attempt to try to remove those 2 people and maybe go to MASB to help us do a superintendent search, right?
Oh, yeah.
To kind of streamline the district. Other board members voted against that. So I'm not happy with that right now in the direction as far as the money that we're spending. Right now, they just approved a contract for $56,000 for a secretary or executive assistant who works 4 hours a day, 3 days a week. Maybe answering the phone from home, but again, we're the authorizer, so you're not getting this foot traffic that you normally would get in a regular school district. We only have 1 school. And most of the things that you would depend on your executive assistant to do is now done by either the CEO, not the CEO of our school, but a BOD, Board of Directors, or the management team. So again, I think we're too top-heavy in salaries. We're paying a CEO almost $120,000. We're paying a director of operations almost $100,000 plus an additional $30,000 for him to be legal counsel. But then yet we have an attorney or the board has an attorney that they're paying almost $50,000. Now, you can't go from being an emergency manager. You were there for district operations. You knew that our goal was to have you there for the 2 years to get us from up under emergency management, state oversight. You were supposed to go. I think we could save almost $200-some thousand or more by streamlining the district and taking us to one superintendent. So those are just some of the issues that I see.
Okay. Vicki, so now when you talk about River Rouge schools, what are some of the positives and what are some of the things that you on the school board would like to see in River Rouge schools?
So some of the positives that we have right now is we are running extremely well. Our superintendent, our assistant superintendent, the board members, the teachers, administrators, everyone is working well together. And so that's the best part because everybody at the top is doing a wonderful job. Now, some of the things I'd like to see is more training. We are going to bring in training programs next year. I'm lining it up right now where we'll come in and talk to our superintendent and the board, and we will discuss the kinds of programs we want to bring in. And then next year, we will be ready to bring those programs in, and it'll go from, say, February to June, and it'll be a pilot probably program just to see how it's going to go. And then in September, it'll be full blast.
There you go.
This is what we're looking for. So right now we're doing pretty good, Darwin. I'm really excited. I think our enrollment is up. Our students are doing well. However, we do have a few expulsions. You're gonna have students who just couldn't come back and get adjusted to come back to school with no problems. Kids from June to September have a hard time coming back in September. So from almost 18 months, these kids are struggling just to come in, behave, go to lunch. They got a whole nother program. So they don't realize that they can get expelled from school for misbehavior.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So ladies, what are some of the reasons why students are being expelled or suspended from school?
So you have to remember that in River Rouge we have a lot of cannabis facilities in our city. And I don't know who was not thinking, but cannabis candy, cannabis cookies, cannabis suckers, okay? Those things get around in high schools. I'm not speaking about elementary and middle schools. I'm talking about high schools. These students will get expelled from school for bringing in cannabis. So, okay, your back is hurting and you can do it at home. That's fine. But you cannot do it in school. We have had students who thought that they could bring a gun to school. Immediately, you are expelled from school. And so, misbehavior. Are you disruptive in class? Are you disrespectful to your teacher? I know that they have to go through suspensions and all that, but at the end of the day, you will be expelled for misconduct.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot, and students have to, I don't know if they had a class that says this is what you have to do when you come back to school. I don't know.
They haven't. And I think the void as well is that we haven't created the wraparound services that our children need, right?
Yes,
so
they do, and they do need that. They, kids don't even have a code of clothing.
Yeah.
So if the shorts are too short and the pants are too low,
they won't go.
They don't know.
You know, so I think, again, you know, we look at the fact that all of these dollars, right, just
Yeah.
came in from the state to fund schools. It
Yeah.
was a big thing for President Biden, as well as our governor, Governor Whitmer, to ensure. It's one of the biggest bills she ever signed in education.
Exactly.
But what's happening is that they're not allocating the dollars towards the children. They're too busy allocating the dollars towards salaries for teachers.
Well, we're doing pretty good. We have an awesome sports program, and we are really investing in the students.
Absolutely.
Right now, we are concerned about food service. What kind of meals do these kids get?
Absolutely.
Don't tell a kid that is hungry that he can't have a second serving. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but it's not just that, right? You have to look at the fact that you talked about clothing. You know, you need a clothing closet, right, where children can go and clothing is provided for them if you don't have it, right?
Yes.
You need to come up with a uniform program. If your students are in uniforms, right? Taking some of those
They're not.
dollars. Oh, they're not. Well, in Highland Park, they have uniforms,
okay.
right?
All
So
right.
they can have like a uniform drive. I also think that you need to start looking at social workers. One of the most important things coming in right now with the kids transitioning
Yes.
from being out of school for
Yes.
18 months.
Yes.
And I mean, some of these children were dealing with adult issues that none of us have ever in life dealt with. I mean, they were taking care
amazing.
of their mother's children,
That's
right? As if they're the parent.
Yeah.
So now they're thinking in their minds, they're responsible when they get out of here. They have to go pick up their little brother and sister.
Right.
How are they going to eat? Creating a food program, maybe partnering with places like Gleaners and things like that. Those
Yes.
are the things that we need to start out, you know, investing in our children. But again, my thing is, if there's a way for them to be able to get some type of social worker services, that is going to be the key for our kids transitioning back into school properly without being suspended.
Well, I think the thing is that we have to continue to lift the parents, because that's another thing too.
Absolutely.
The parents are sometimes, you know, beating their heads trying to figure out how they can work with the teachers as well as with the students, because just as you're saying, some of the parents may have 1, 2, or possibly even 3 jobs to go and keep the household, you know, and keep a roof over their head, food on the table,
Absolutely.
heat, you know, in the household. So the thing is that they're not able to be there with their children. And like you said, Alexis, they may in turn then have to be depending on big brother or big sister to do some of the things, to be the disciplinarian, to help making certain that they're fed, and making certain too that they are in the household by a certain time. So a lot of, and then it's hard because sometimes the children can't be children.
Absolutely. And then I look at the paper you have right there, Wayne Metro, right? Partnering with companies or organizations like Wayne Metro, bringing them directly to the school, having 2 days a week possibly that Wayne Metro is on site. They do assistance with rental assistance, paying your bills. They do utility assistance. They have food programs. They also have partnering possibly with the Say Clinic. We have the Say Clinic Detroit here in Highland Park, which offers free health care, right, to pre-K, well, babies, all the way to adults. And so I think partnering with strong organizations, again, to create those wraparound services are going to be the most important things that we need for our children to keep them from being put out. Education about marijuana, right? Letting them know that, you know, your brain is not fully developed at this point. So by ingesting cannabis or eating cannabis or whatever you want to call it, doing those things are not beneficial to you right now as a teen or a young person coming up in society. I mean, what you choose to do as an adult is what you choose to do, but you need to understand the effects on the body. So again, those wraparound services, those I believe that's the key to the transition back into schools.
Now, in the few minutes, ladies, that we've got left before we wrap up, and this time went by so quickly.
It did.
It always
Is it
does.
30 minutes already?
Yes.
But the thing I'm going to ask too is that let's look at protocols just real quick. Are there the COVID-19 protocols in Highland Park schools?
There are COVID-19 protocols. I can't say, how the district's set up right now. We do have a COVID-19 preparedness plan.
Okay.
That's something that was in place prior to me leaving the board. Are the protocols being followed? I can't say because I haven't been in the school. But if I look at the leadership that we currently have on our BOE and BOD, I'm sure, especially with Dr. Anita Bates, one of the new BOD members, I'm positive that they're probably following COVID protocols.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vicki?
So, Darwin, yes, we have a program for COVID-19. All students must wear masks. They must, make sure they have hand sanitizers. They're tested in the morning when they come in.
So they do temperature checks?
Yes. And so, we have all kind of provisions for our students, yes.
Now, what about the distancing? Did you guys invest in those
I'll
plexiglass and
tell
all
you,
of that stuff?
I don't, we can say distance,
Right, I know.
but, kids
Gonna be kids.
gonna be kids.
Yes,
Now, I
ma'am.
might stay 6 feet away from one or two, but guess what? Even that's impossible.
Absolutely.
Because when they see me, they want to hug, they want to say hello. So what do?
Right.
I mean, I got on a mask, they have on a mask.
Absolutely. But
Yeah,
I'm just
so-
saying, like, in the classroom,
Yeah,
like,
so I'm not,
I'm not
gonna,
and things like that.
I'm not gonna stay away from a kid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say stay away, but I'm just wondering in class, because I know that was part of our preparedness plan is, making sure the desks are separated, creating smaller class sizes, that type
they
of
have a
thing.
desk. They have a desk, and the desk has got the
Shield,
shields around.
absolutely.
So at your desk, are you away from other students? Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
absolutely.
However, when they get in that hallway,
It's nothing you can do about that.
when they go in the lunchroom,
Nothing
it's
you can do.
different.
Absolutely.
So, while we do protect our children, there are some things that you just cannot.
Absolutely. And I agree.
keep them from doing.
Mask is the key for right now.
Yes.
You see the surge going up right now in a lot of our middle schools.
Yes.
Because in other districts, they're saying, hey, if you want to wear a mask, you can. If you don't, you don't. To me, I mean,
And
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
know
leave
what?
that one
At the conference, they had people outside saying, "Don't make my children wear a mask." How? Why?
absolutely.
And see, the other thing about that too is that are you also looking at the students, do they need to get their vaccinations?
Yes.
Yes.
And talking about vaccinations, just really quick.
Right, 'cause we got 1 minute left.
Okay, so real quick, we will begin offering the vaccinations for 5-year-olds over at our Highland Park Recreation Center starting next Monday.
Okay.
Our schedule for vaccinations are Monday, 2 to 8, Wednesday, 2 to 8, Friday, 9 to 3, Saturday, 9 to 3, and that's at the Highland Park Recreation Center, Ernest T. Ford, Tim Picken, and we take children from all communities. So it's not
okay,
just
great.
limited to Highland Park children.
Yeah.
It will be open to all communities, and we currently have all 3 vaccinations available as well. So if you need your booster for Pfizer, Moderna, or your Johnson & Johnson, I don't know if Johnson & Johnson's been approved, but we do have that first shot available. Please come out to the Highland Park Recreation Center.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Great. Well, this has been a fast-paced half an hour.
Yes.
There was a lot of good information that was disseminated out. Thank you, ladies, for coming out. That was some great information, especially about getting the vaccination.
Absolutely.
Not just for the children, but also for the adults.
Yes.
That may be wanting to get their booster shots. So, Vicki, I guess they'll see you sometime next week.
First thing.
We look forward to it, Ms. Vicki.
Well, this has been an expose under the sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. We hope that you will continue to stay safe, stay in getting people to encourage them to get vaccinated, because it's not just your safety, but it's the safety of your loved ones, as well. So again, parents, work with your students, keep abreast of some of the things that they're doing in the schools. It just can't depend on the teachers to take care of that. It also has to depend on home. Do as you can. This is going to be a great, great remainder of the school year. You've got Christmas, Thanksgiving coming up. So give time, keep people in your prayers, keep the Livonia Pearman family in your prayers and your thoughts. But if you'd like to go and get a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, who sponsors our show, you can contact Ms. Valerie Lockhart, and she can let you know the places where you can go and obtain the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, as well as if you'd like to advertise in the paper. There are some special holidays bargains that she's going to be offering, so definitely make sure that you contact her to see about advertising in the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. You can reach Ms. Valerie Lockhart at area code 313-457-5944. And again, ladies, I do want to thank Ms. Vicki Dobbins in River Rouge Schools, and also Ms. Alexis Ramsey, Highland Park Schools. Thank you, ladies, for coming on the show today.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you both.
Yes.
All right.
Have a great rest of this afternoon.